It's me, Renee. I'm back. And you can't see it because I have that blinds for because light, but today it's raining quite a lot. Quite a lot. It's not a huge amount, but it's like a steady rain pour. Well, it's pouring rain, I suppose. It's a word. So here I am, as you can see, doing the rainy day book tag. First, I kind of Googled just found a list of book tags, and I didn't see a rainy day. And like, is it not a thing? Maybe I should make my own. Therefore, like, shouldn't it be a thing? I Googled again rainy day book tag, and it is a thing. So here I am doing it. So the first question is: do you have a specific place that you read while it's raining? And for me personally, I don't really. I mean, the places I read, it's kind of like I switch around them, but it's like I often sit in the couch and read. Well, lay in a couch and read. I might sit in a chair and read. Sometimes I even, wait a moment, sometimes I even decide to sit on the floor and read. Not right here, I suppose. Oh, this is kind of comfy. But yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I sit on the other side, and yeah, I'm quirky like that. So yeah, I don't really have a specific place that I read just when it's raining. I generally have like places to read when I read. I suppose what I kind of do sometimes. I suppose this will be coming back in another question. But sometimes I actually end up when it's raining. I end up doing and then I sit by the table. And then I sit here and listen to audiobook while doing the jigsaw puzzles. So yeah, that's something I do while it's raining. When it's raining, I do it like other times as well. Puzzles. Yes, I really enjoy jigsaw puzzles. But for me, like jigsaw puzzles, like peak jigsaw puzzles is when it's either dark outside, like fall or winter, like in the evening, or when it's raining. It kind of makes me think, now I want to do jigsaw puzzles. And then I usually also listen to an audiobook. So yeah, that's the question. That question answered. And then let's look at the second question. Give me a little moment. Best book to read on a rainy day. Now here, I suppose I have several answers for you. Actually, well, several answers. One answer. Yeah, I have an answer. One, the first part of the answer. For me, I wouldn't really say this a best book to read during the rainy day. I suppose it's up to you. I suppose this question is probably asking the tagger or the tagged, what is your best book to read during a rainy day? But yeah, for me, it kind of depends. Like sometimes I continue to read a book that I am already reading. If I decide to do an audiobook, I actually have a best answer for you because, interesting enough, a little moment. I want to sit again. I, I think this started like 2 3 years ago because it wasn't really a thing like I did when I was young. I've always done jigsaw puzzles and audiobooks. That's kind of like a big thing that goes together in my mind, like my whole life. But these last few 3 5 years, I've kind of had this obsession where like I can't listen to any book while doing a jigsaw puzzle. Often have to. But yeah, I often pick up an Agatha Christie audiobook. I suppose in a way because a lot of them, I suppose, yeah, most of them I've already listened to, so they're familiar and nice. But also, a lot of people who do that, those audiobooks have just such nice, calming voices. So I really also enjoy that. And so, like, until recently, I hadn't really finished all the Agatha Christie books, like the Hercule Poirot books. I didn't finish quite a lot of them 2 years ago now, while doing audiobooks and jigsaw puzzles. So I suppose, like, for a lot of shorter reads, because a lot of Hercule Poirot is actually kind of shorter stories. And yeah, for a lot of shorter time, it's kind of a nice way to do it. And yeah, last January actually, I listened to a lot of Sherlock Holmes on audio, and that was just very nice. And so let's say it's really not intriguing, but yeah, it's very nice. I also really enjoyed those narrations. A lot of the ones I did last January was actually in Norwegian, but they were just done so well. A lot of them were available in Norwegian. And then this year I found quite a lot in English. And yeah, this year I actually finished all the Sherlock Holmes stories. So on audio. So yeah, I've finished that now. And yeah, so I suppose for as like a physical read, I don't really have as something a best book, but like for if I want to do an audiobook for me, Rainy Day kind of equals Agatha Christie or Sherlock Holmes, like those kinds of um, classic crime stories. Sorry. I suppose I also could like what I actually did last week. I because I finished with Sherlock Holmes, I kind of wanted to do some more jigsaw puzzles because it was raining. I kind of felt like it. So I end up. So I suppose for me, it's either Agatha Christie or Sherlock Holmes, or it's kind of whatever. But it's kind of more to do with narrator. Like if the narrator has like a soothing, nice voice, I'll do whatever. So yeah, last week I found an audiobook narrated by Eleanor Tomlinson. Um, sorry, of Poldark fame. She plays the wife in Poldark, and she's also famous for being the best friend in Georgie, Georgina Nickerson and her Ooga Boogas. Like yeah, that adaptation movie that came out in 2010. I don't remember the title exactly, but yeah, it was no. George Nicholson and Full Frontal Slugging is actually that title of the movie, which quite enjoy. Haven't watched it in a while now, but yeah. So yeah, that one. And so yeah, I listened to an audiobook narrated by her, and her voice is just so calming. I tried to see if she had more audiobooks that she'd done. I don't think she has, but hopefully she'll do more in the future because I really love her voice. So yeah, so I suppose, or at least to me, narrators are always important with audiobooks. Like if a narrator for audiobook is just bad, I can't force myself to finish it. That's one of the reasons I didn't have audiobooks. Well, some audiobooks. But then again, I mean, you have some narrators that are fine. So like you listen to it because of the interesting story, not because of the interesting narration. But like, and then you have, I suppose, also have some narrators who do a good job. But like their voice is fine, but like the way they do it is very good. But also, yeah, as I said, there's some people who just have a soothing, nice, calming voice, and of course that's kind of a big plus when listening to an audiobook. So yeah, sorry. And then the next prompt question. Got a lot about one question here, but yeah. Um, best book with rain, either on cover or like inside the story. Yeah. First, I was like thinking like books with rain. Well, can I think of any? I suppose actually quite a lot of books that take place like over a year or something like that, and then probably it will be one rainy day. But like I think like is it like a book with that significant scene with the rain day because you kind of feel like it has to be a significant scene, kind of like just be like it rained. It rained for a few days. I mean, that seems a bit silly way to answer this question, really. I end up going with Time Villains, which I was actually one of the first reads from last year, and one of the days that's important in this story is a day that's stormy and rainy, and I suppose if it's stormy, it's also rainy because storm is a lot of rain. Yeah, you understand what I'm thinking. And during that day, something important happens. Well, I suppose you can see from cover. The villains arrive. So yeah, so it's quite important scene there. And then the next question is blah. Give me a little moment to check out the next question. The next question on the prompt. And then this question is book that made you cry. So I suppose this could have been actually a few books because I cry. Yeah, I cry if the book kind of calls for it and if it kind of gives me like the need to cry. I end up going with Death Set Sail because important person dies in this one. Though, interesting enough, I did spoil myself before coming to that part in the book, so I kind of already knew that the person dying, it wasn't as easy as the person dying, there was more to the story. But even though I knew it wasn't like how, it wasn't that easy, I was still overcome with sadness. And I suppose also like in general, this is the last in the series, and at least for my sake, like when I finish a series that I've like with many books, for a lot of people or a lot of books, I tend to cry regardless because it's the end of an era. I mean, yes, this book has a sequel and a companion series, but it's still the end of the people where you have these exact people in the main story. So it's still kind of the end of an era, no matter if you still have books in the same universe. So yeah, quite made me cry when I read it. Read it now 2 years ago, 3 years ago, around that, and yeah, also great series. Now, next question is blah, 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 blah. Yeah. The question here is simply least favorite book. I suppose maybe some people don't like the rain. I mean, I like it when it rains. I don't really mind rain. But I suppose it could maybe think that rain equals bad, and so I don't know. I suppose some things you have to include in a talking about rain. So least favorite, I suppose. Why not? But yeah, least favorite book. Honestly, this is kind of difficult for me because I don't really like books I don't really enjoy. I don't really think about them that much. So I could just kind of, if people ask me like, what's the book you didn't know at all? Like, I don't know. But actually, I after a few seconds, I was thinking like, do I know a book that I didn't enjoy at all? Like, yeah. But yeah, I'm actually gonna go with the book that I've read it quite a while ago, quite a few years ago now. And it came out like many years before. It kind of went around booktube for a few years ago. It's The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons. This book takes place during First World War, which I suppose makes it different from all the books that takes place during Second World War. But still, other than that, it's kind of, I suppose, it's interesting that, I mean, it's the reason to pick it up. So it took place during First World War. There's a love story in it. So that's kind of why we made me pick it up. But yeah, the main character gets bullied by her family for some reason. I don't remember why, but she doesn't get bullied. She actually is like, she gets harassed, I would say. And then the love story, her love interest ends up treating her very badly, and it's not really a goodly written story, and it's not really like that interesting. I do remember I finished the whole book, like, it was why I didn't DNF it. I think because like the first chapter and because like the interesting like the hook of it was like interesting enough that I kind of thought like I'll just finish this book. But I do remember like skimming a lot of it and like when I finished the end it's like really that's how it ends, that this is this story. And I do also think like I believe in the beginning I feel like this book got a lot of praise and then after a while a lot of people say like this book doesn't need praise because it's just a bad book. And now I feel like it's kind of been like you never have to look at it as a bad book. And yeah, I would agree it's not that good of a book. And yeah, I would say like if people ask me like what's a bad book that you don't enjoy, it's gonna be that one. The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons. I don't recommend it at all. Now, you know what? The last question is simply, what's your drink of choice during rainy day? And for me, I suppose I don't really have a specific drink of choice. I suppose it's more like a random. It's more like a general drink of choice, which is, I suppose I can't really show it to you, but yeah, it is tea. I love myself some tea. I don't really like coffee at all. I really love tea. I also like hot chocolate. I have not drank it in quite a while. Well, sorry, I drank it in December, so it was not that long ago. But yeah, it's been a little while since I drank it. But yeah, I really enjoy tea, and today I have strawberry tea with honey in it, so that's quite nice. And yeah, very good. I think actually my favorite tea of all time actually is peppermint tea. Well, both my sister and my cabin has, well, my cabin has, but yeah, outside my cabin there's like we grow some plants, peppermint being one of them. So sometimes I mm, forest and I have fresh tea from the leaves there, and it's just pure joy, pure bliss, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's today's video. The rainy day book tag video. I didn't post anything yesterday because I suppose I just was just kind of busy reading, and yeah, I ended up not posting anything yesterday. And yeah, here we have today's video, and yeah, as usual, I'll tag anyone who wants to do it. So if you see this and you think, you know what, sounds like a nice, fun, easy challenge tag, which yeah, it is quite easy. It's not that long at all, and you want to do it, tag your it. And yeah, bye.